I'm your host, Chris Kalabukas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep, deep, deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California, the innovation capital of the world. We're talking innovation startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. Oh my God, something happened the other day. I read something the other day which flashed me back 15 years. 15 years? 16 years. It was 1999 all over again. I read an article saying that some service companies are now starting to accept equity instead of cash for their services, thinking that, oh, you know what, maybe this startup that I'm working with, maybe this startup that I'm building a mobile app for, building a website for, maybe this one will be the next Uber, next huge unicorn or decacorn. Flashback time, guys. Flashback time. I remember late 99, working for a web design firm. I was doing the engineering projects for the web design firm. I had a team of engineers doing the interactive pieces of websites. This was when most websites weren't interactive, and it was a new thing to add things like forms and content management, things like that. And I remember startup after startup coming in to see us and going, here's our idea. And they'd present their idea, and we would go, that's great. What are you looking for? And they would tell us what they want. And then they'd say at the very end of the meeting, they'd say, well, we don't have any funding yet, so we'll pay you in stock. And of course, at that point, our VP of sales, who was kind of a hard ass, said, no. There's the door. Actually, there's the door. So we went through a bunch of those deals, and we never signed any of them because they probably all went away into early 2000 when the market crashed. The bubble just exploded. Boom. And at the time, I was reading stories about how people were giving away their time and skills, their services for stock, thinking that, oh, this internet thing is going to be so huge, we're going to become millionaires just if we had the stock of this company. And then, of course, Webvan blew up and everybody blew up, and that was it. That bubble burst. Boom. And now, 15, 16 years later, I'm hearing the exact same thing. Service organizations, individuals, companies are now accepting equity in their customers instead of cash or in addition to cash. And the thing that's kind of freaky to me about this is that started happening just before everything blew up. Just before everything blew up 15 years ago, that's what was happening. So I hope that that's not a harbinger for everything blowing up now. But of course, I think the times are different. I mean, everyone says that, oh yeah, here's another bubble. Times are different now. Well, I think times are different now because back then, I mean, we were able to charge $1 million for a couple of pages on a website. Now, a couple of pages on a website are free, and if you want to build an app, that won't run you too much either. I mean, it's not very difficult to learn how to develop a mobile app, and it's relatively inexpensive to find somebody to build a mobile app for you. So getting your product out the door and getting traction is not as difficult as it used to be, and doesn't require huge amounts of investment. I mean, that's what happened then. People were just drawing things on napkins and then showing it to investors. Investors were going, hey, does that have internet on it? Well, I'm going to invest $20 million. And then they'd go out and buy a building and hire all these people, and then they'd explode. Well, as far as I know, as far as I can tell, that's not happening today. Startups are a little more cautious. You know, they're looking for traction. They're looking for product market fit. They're looking for actual revenues coming in, and then they're taking those baby steps out. And some of them are more successful than others, but I don't see them overextending themselves. Of course, there's some that are like that. I mean, look at Snapchat. What is Snapchat's business model? Snapchat keeps getting funded, but where are they going to get their money from? Something like Nextdoor. Nextdoor is on round E or something like that of funding. Where's their business model? How are they making money? So some of these startups still need to show how they're going to make money. And those ones you may have an issue with, but everything else, I think people are much more cautious nowadays, and we're not going to see the same kind of explosions. But by the same token, I would probably not take stock for my services because, like my ex-boss at that company used to say, it could be $1,000 a share, but it could also go to zero. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.